In this video, we're going to take a look at the female gametes and trace the path of the female gamete. So gametes, of course, include eggs and sperm. Okay? Eggs are also called oocytes. The process of making eggs is called oogenesis, and the process of making sperm is called spermatogenesis. And both these processes require a special type of cell division called meiosis. We've studied mitosis before. Mitosis is cell cloning, making more of the exact same cells to replace dead and dying cells. But meiosis is different. Meiosis is a type of cell division where we're intentionally creating different cells. And we're creating cells with half the number of normal chromosomes. We call these haploid cells. Haploid meaning half the number of chromosomes. So a typical human cell that is not a gamete is diploid, meaning it has 46 chromosomes. That's 2 pairs of each chromosome. So we have 2 chromosome number 1s, 2 chromosome number 2s, 2 chromosome number 3s, 2 chromosome number 23s, right? You have 2 of every chromosome. That's diploid. But a gamete is haploid. It has 23 chromosomes, just 1 of each chromosome. 1 chromosome 1, 1 chromosome 2, 1 chromosome 3, etc. And this is important because when the male gamete with 23 chromosomes meets up with the female gamete with 23 chromosomes, the two come together to form a fertilized egg, which now contains 46 chromosomes, having 2 of every chromosome, and that is what we need in order to start the process of embryogenesis. Meiosis also allows DNA to be mixed up. So during the process of meiosis, we're going to kind of scramble up the DNA a little bit. And this creates genetic diversity. And this is important for evolution. We don't want every single human to be exactly the same. If we were all exactly the same and a virus should evolve that can kill humans, then we will all die, right? So we do need genetic diversity for the survival of the species. So meiosis does create genetic diversity, and it also creates those haploid cells. So meiosis starts with a cell with 46 chromosomes. This cell replicates its 46 chromosomes, so now there are 92. These chromosomes swap genes. So this is the part where we mix up the DNA, and it's called crossing over. And again, this is the whole point here is to create genetic diversity. The chromosomes are then divvied up into 2 sets of 46, and then the cell splits in half. So there are 2 cells now, each with 46 chromosomes. Then these cells split, and now there are 4 cells, each with 23 chromosomes, and no 2 are alike due to that crossing over process where we swapped out genes. Each and every single sperm and each and every single egg is genetically unique, mostly due to this process of crossing over. Each sperm and each egg is also haploid due to the process of meiosis. Now let's take a look specifically at oogenesis. This is the process of meiosis that results in the formation of an oocyte. So the oocyte precursor cell, or a germ cell, starts with 46 chromosomes. They replicate their chromosomes, so now that there's 92. We get the swapping of the genes, the crossing over happening, and then the chromosomes are divvied up into 2 sets of 46, and the cell splits in half. So now we have 2 cells, each with 46 chromosomes. However, one of these cells dies. The cell that didn't die splits in half, and now we have 2 cells each with 23 chromosomes. And one of those cells dies, leaving 1 viable oocyte. Every single egg made by a woman is genetically unique, again, due to that process of crossing over. What's kind of interesting is that almost all of a woman's oocytes are frozen in the middle of meiosis upon birth, right? At puberty, and once a month thereafter, 1 egg out of the 1 to 2 million in every ovary matures and is released from the ovary through the process called ovulation. So a woman is born with every egg she will ever have, frozen in the state of meiosis. So as a woman ages, so do her eggs. And over time, the eggs accumulate damage, and some of this damage puts the woman at risk for having a baby with Down syndrome, right? So the older the egg is, the more increased risk for Down syndrome. Meiosis actually doesn't even complete in the oocyte until fertilization occurs, which is sort of a strange thing to think about, right? So the egg won't even finish the process of meiosis unless a sperm fertilizes it. Now let's trace the path of the oocyte or ovum. Okay? So a mature follicle in the ovary will rupture, releasing the oocyte through the process of ovulation. Now the oocyte is essentially now floating in the fluid around the ovary. The fimbriae of the infundibulum will then sweep the oocyte into the oviduct or fallopian tube. Gentle muscle contractions of the oviduct will then transport the oocytes, or embryo if fertilization occurs, through the oviduct to the uterus. If the oocyte was fertilized, we now have an embryo, and the embryo will then implant into the endometrium of the uterus.